All right, my name is Dan. I am your MC for these lightning talks. I will give a half lightning talk on the lightning talks. There are 2 rules. Number 1, you have 3 minutes, including, I think I've done the math, 10 seconds to plug your laptop in. Number 2, there will be applause, but the moment the applause happens, start plugging the next laptop in. All right, quick video. I'm a lightning talk veteran here.
Hopefully PowerPoint works. All right, where's the play button? Where is it? There it is. This is really low res. All right, I'm ready.
I'll be nice. 10.
Oh, I need to plug it in.
9. 8. 7.
Anyways, it gets down to 1, and then the laptop magically works. And so, pro tip, videos, working laptops, nothing crazy. And that was Jason Huggins almost killing Appium, because that was the lightning talk that became Appium. So, hopefully I will not kill anything awesome like Appium, but if I do, sorry, we have rules. All right, so now, everybody, get ready. The first lightning talk is going to be Andy Brown. No time, nope. No applause.
Okay, thank you. I'm Andy Brown. This is a 10-minute talk, condensed to 5 minutes. Last time, condensed to 3 minutes, so I apologise, it's going to be quite quick. If you were at PyCon 2015, you've already heard this, and there's nothing technical, and you're all going to stand up at one point. Okay, put your hands up if you, in the last 2 months, have spent more than 3 hours at your computer in one stretch. Put your hands down if you didn't reach 4 hours. I really don't want to go any further than that. Right, okay, this is 3 minutes to save your ass. The reason I called it this is that programmers are sitting down for too long, and we're at risk of piles. Has anybody had piles before? Am I the only person who's going to put their hand up? Okay, that's fine. If you have, you don't need to tell everybody. It's not pleasant, but sitting down for long periods is not good for you. So we need to get up and move around more. Every 25 to 30 minutes, you should be getting up. So stand up. Right, okay, that has just released all those muscles. Got your blood flowing again, helping save your ass. I told you, this is great. Yeah, this works for everybody. So this was, I want everybody stood up. Come on. Right, okay. Other problems that computer programmers and other people who are working on computers face. Who's had RSI or carpal tunnel syndrome problems? Okay, sitting down, 4 hours some of you are sitting down for. You don't suffer from this with you a little bit of tingling in the fingers when you're driving home after work? No? Okay, well, anyway, you will do, because it happens. So I want everybody to put their mouse hand out to one side. You may need to turn slightly. Tilt, lower the hand down, palm up, lower the hand down to the floor and tilt your head away from that hand. You are stretching out the nerves that run from your neck all the way to your fingers, and then just keep lifting and lowering back down again. So when you take 2 or 3 minutes to stand up every 25 to 30 minutes, do that 5 times, and you'll help reduce your risk of RSI. That was 3 minutes to save your ass. Thank you very much. I've been Andy Brown. I'm here all day.
All right. I literally know nothing about these people because their names are just on a board. So I'm going to make up a bio. From Sauce Labs, Christian Broman.
Hi everyone, my name is Christian. I want to basically show some demos with WebDriver and Modi Remote. So as you can see here, that's a normal WebDriver test. You fetch elements, you click on them, do funny stuff. But what if the tests are a little bit more sophisticated? You don't want to just run thousands of different browsers on the same test. You want to have 2 browsers interact with each other to test, for instance, chat applications or games or whatnot. So WebDriver provides a way to do that. You can define different browsers and name them. For example, I hope that is somehow visible. Let me see if I can find that. So you can name your capabilities Edgar and Jim, and then 2 browsers spawn up, and you can use them in order to test chat application. So let's see if that works. I built a WebRTC application. That's basically just a chat. So 2 browsers spawn up, and I did some pause in there to show you how the test is executing. So Edgar and Jim putting in their credentials, and then Edgar says, hey, what's up? My name is SAConf16, and then the other browser says, hey, SAConf16, how are you today? And that test looks basically like this. You have your Edgar and Jim variables, and you can like use some browser if you need to. If you call an action on a browser, it executes the action on these 2 browsers at the same time. How am I on the time? 2 minutes. Okay, I did a couple of things. I jump over one example. I worked on a WebRTC example. So 2 browsers connect to a WebRTC video chat, and I test my talk, as Dan said yesterday in his Advanced Appium talk. We should test everything, also the talks. So I wrote a test to test my talk, and it tests the audio volume. So if the audience applauds loud enough, my test's gonna pass. And we're gonna try that now. I'm gonna ask you now to be quiet, so my test's gonna fail, so we can check if it makes sense. So I call npm test. So my test failed, boo, that talk sucked. So now when the buzzer starts, I'm gonna ask you to applaud and cheer so that we can make the test pass, okay? I guess I'm gonna give you a sign. Okay, now it's your turn. Louder!
Sorry, unplug that. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Sorry, he ran out of time. All right. Sarah Thompson from, I think, something called Puppet, which may be is that the Puppet? Oh, that one, okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh. Don't start the timer. I don't know how to get onto the... Does anyone want to do this quickly?
Oh, the web browser. I was about to say, I used to work on the PowerPoint too. All right. Well, so this time is not wasted. Sarah is also the Olympic record holder in the 200-line factor.
No.
No.
I don't have any slides.
Are they up? What?
Yeah, why is it?
All right, Tim Baverstock, ladies and gentlemen, from Ladue. And in the concurrent thread, Sarah
So, we have a lot of tests. We have about 28 hours of tests, machine time. We like running them in parallel, so they only take a half an hour. We have a thing called Parallel Cucumber, which there are several versions of Parallel Cucumber out there. This is ours, we like it. It's on GitHub, Badoo, B-A-D-O-O, Parallel Cucumber. We use the v2.0 branch because we're humble. We use a wrapper rake script to set up the devices and call Parallel Cucumber because the arguments are a little bit complicated. That sets up how many workers are going to run, what the device IDs are, that sort of thing. It runs parallel dry run to populate the configured scenarios into a queue. So we have particular tags we want to run the Android tests or what have you. It does a dry run, finds all the scenarios to run, puts them into a database queue. Then it starts up a whole load of workers in parallel, starts them staggered by a few seconds from each other so they don't collide on the CPU. Each worker runs a startup setup at the very beginning and a shutdown at the very end for tidying things up. But mainly, it sits in a loop, checking its device is still in a sane state, and then takes a batch of tests, like 5 or 6 tests from the queue, runs those tests, and then does the whole thing again until the queue is empty. So all of the workers cooperate to empty the queue. The workers invoke short scripts for starting, stopping, checking, and executing for those tasks. The scripts can also handle things like remote environments. So our iOS tests run on about 5 different computers at the same time. And they also provide platform diversity, so web, Android, iOS, Windows. The scripts are set up by environment variables, which determine which device is being run on, but it also informs the Cucumber YAML file to put different results in different places, and talks about our before-after steps. They reference those environment variables as well. We don't collate the results in parallel Cucumber because that's difficult. We do that in a different part of our system, but at least we have all the files collated into one place, so we can do that when we need to. We haven't published our per-platform scripts, mostly because it just works out of the box. It runs Cucumber, that's it. Android is similarly easy. You just run calabash android run APK file. You provide that on the command line. iOS is trickier, but if you're interested in seeing our iOS host clustering, iOS host clustering, create an issue on our GitHub, and we'll do that for you. And for the transcribers, flocky posts and illipifilication.
Thank you, Tim. All right, and now, Sarah Thompson, today's first cautionary tale.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I work for Puppet as a toolsmith. We wanted to kind of easily add the ability to capture performance metrics in our existing UI tooling. I don't have a ton of time to go into exactly how we did it, but I just wanted to make the point that it's not as difficult as you think. It's super easy. I would encourage everyone to give it a go if you need to do that kind of thing. There's a ton of information out there and people to give you a hand. So what we want to do was to reuse our existing UI test tooling. We wanted to run our perf tests in CI. We have functional tests that run on every code merge in our main UI component repo. We wanted the same thing for our perf tests. We wanted to be able to visualize these perf results over time and also be able to trace back to the individual code commit when we saw spikes. So how do we do this? We use browser mode proxy. There's a ton of information out there on how to get this working with various different language bindings. We also use Sauce Connect, and there's also a ton of information on the Sauce website as to how to get browser mode working with Sauce Connect. The thing I wanted to be able to do was to give the ability to the person who was writing the test what exactly they captured transaction times for. So our test case looked a bit like this. So we get a HAR file produced, which is essentially just a JSON file. There's information out there on how you can, HAR views out there that you can use, or you can use the API to create your own. So what I wanted to do, I didn't want people to have to troll through HAR files to find out if there was an issue, performance issue. So we already use Grafana quite heavily in Puppet. So I was able to, a couple of lines of Ruby code using the Ruby stats.c library, push up this information to a Grafana server. People could then create whatever dashboards they wanted. We're working on the ability to grab the commit chas that actually triggered the job and actually have that pushed up there as well. So if we have a spike in page load times, we can trace that back to the actual code that caused it. Thank you.
Thank you. And probably a fan of purple, Dylan Shearman.
Shimon. I know, I'm just giving you a hard time. All right. There we go. That looks terrible, but that's okay. All right. I'm Dylan. I'm known for JavaScript, SitePen, Dojo, Intern, and other things. And I work with a company called SitePen. Intern is a JavaScript testing framework, and the goal is to test all the things. So it supports unit testing, functional testing, code coverage analysis, visual regression testing, performance regression testing, accessibility analysis, and probably a few other things, and hooks into a lot of continuous integration environments. All of these things are pluggable because the idea is no JavaScript engineer can possibly agree with another on how exactly to do tests or to use the tools they want. It has a number of dependencies. Leadfoot is our WebDriver wrapper. It's similar to WebDriver.io. And its big differentiator is that it, well, I think in terms of other things, is that it attempts to work around inconsistencies in WebDriver implementations. And that's what I'll show. We also have DigDug, which its big thing that helps with people with Selenium that are JavaScript people is the constant complaint is it's really difficult to keep Selenium up to date or current or to install all the dependencies. So it includes a CLI tool that basically will just install Selenium, Selenium standalone, the different drivers that you need based on a configuration that you've defined for the browsers you want to test locally. We also do a bunch of other things, like we have a recorder that's similar to Selenium IDE, except it's a Chrome DevTools extension that will generate the functional test code for you. Obviously, you can write code better than this code, but it's a nice handy tool, and we encourage you to get involved. So I'll just show you quickly what happens when we run functional tests. So I'm going to run this CLI command. It's going to pop open a copy of Chrome, there we go. And you see it's doing a bunch of stuff, and then it actually runs a quick test. And so for the first couple of seconds, what it's actually doing is running a bunch of feature tests. And so what we have done is we've cataloged all of the sort of 200-some defects we found across all the different common WebDriver APIs and opened bugs where they weren't existent, and they basically created a list of all of those properties. And then what we do is we write a bunch of feature tests for things that either are known to break where we can work around them or not workaroundable, and then we test those in about 2 seconds on each browser before we go. And then there are things where the browser lies or the driver lies, and so we write some code to work around that. And then the idea is basically when you write your functional tests and run them, if you do something that's going to break your functional test, we will either skip that test so your whole test suite doesn't crash, or if there's a known workaround, we'll use that known workaround. So that's what Intern's about. We're releasing a new version at the end of the year that's authored in TypeScript and ES6 so that instead of having to transpile, you can test ES6 features natively. And hope you get involved. Thanks.
Thank you, Dylan. All right, coming up next, I can't read his last name, but he's from ADP and his first name is Robbie. Let's not give a round of applause so Robbie can get started. Let's stall while Robbie's laptop. No. Does it? Hey, there we magic. All right, getting there. Wonderful. All right. Ali Rad? All right. Well, Robbie, whatever his name is, gets going. Let's meet Ali Rad.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ali. I wasn't going to give this talk, and I didn't prepare for it, but it's been such a great conference that I thought I'll give this talk, and I'm hoping that you either come to talk to me and tell me why not to continue, or come and help me carry on. So what I am trying to do is I come from performance testing, load testing, stress testing, non-functional testing background, and we guys feel pretty lonely. You know, you guys have gone on a journey, and performance testers are generally, or load testers are left behind, and in a lot of big firms, you know, we do our own thing, we do our own code. So my task has been to do load testing using Selenium and take it to the scale. So the same beautiful frameworks, page object, etc. You know, modern IDEs, they can come finally and be used to develop the load script. So therefore, the cycles are not as slow. You know, we don't have to go, oh, you've changed the page, we can't load test it. We don't have to have long freeze periods. Effectively, just join the 21st century. So if you know other people doing it, please come and tell me. If you think I shouldn't be doing it, come and tell me. Just generally would be good to have a chat with you. The company I have is called ButlerThing. It's butlerthing.io, and my Twitter handle is @ButlerThing. So if you want to get hold of me in the future, thank you.
All right, that was at Butler Thing, if you were curious. And now, once again, I still don't know his name, Robbie.
Hey, cool. Okay, yeah, so cool, yeah. So my presentation is basically trying to fit 20 minutes into 180 seconds. So I'm going to assume you all know these things. And everybody should know Selenium issue 1441. If you don't, look online, it makes sense. Cool. So in order to orchestrate in a compose file, I need like an entry for every single thing I need in my test. So I've got an entry to run my tests. I've got an entry to run my hub. That says hub. I've got an entry to orchestrate Chrome to attach to my hub, and I've got an entry for my proxy. And proxies are awesome. Cool. So the really key thing, if you leave here with kind of one thing, is the fact that I'm hard coding, which you probably can't see because the font's too small. I'm hard coding my grid as hub, and I'm hard coding my proxy as proxy. But the reason that works is because I've got links. I've said there's a link to my instance of hub. There's a link to my instance of proxy. So compose kind of allows me to hard code these links, which makes things really easy. So in my so to my build step, again, the font's too small, but in my build step, I'm starting my hub, I'm starting my proxy, I'm starting my Chrome, I'm scaling my Chrome, saying I want 9 Chromes attached to my hub, then I'm running my tests, and then after I got my exit code, I'm then stopping everything in a couple of lines. So what that ultimately means is, so we've created a really complex ecosystem here with proxies, with hubs, with Chromes, whatever, without any configuration. So if I run this anywhere, it will work. I can run lots at the same time. It will always work. Zero maintenance. So obviously my proxy only exists. My grid only exists for the duration of the test. It's only used by this test. When the test run ends, my proxy ends, my hub ends, my Chrome ends. So there's zero maintenance, there's zero contention, and the scaling is really simple. If you're interested about this, so I can explain it in a much more clear way, please grab me afterwards. But that's about 20 minutes in 180 seconds, and that's me done, I think.
Nope, silence, no time. A man I can solely recommend based on his conference choice, Yannick Kleibo.
Okay, hello, I'm Yannick Kleibo. Imagine you have a web application for blog posts, and you have like tons of Selenium tests for testing it, and you have here 3 examples of blog posts of test cases. You want to edit a blog post, you want to share a blog post, you want to view a big blog post. So they're all different tests, but of course to be able to do that, you need first to set up your test and to tear down your test. You need to log in, you need to post a new blog post, and at the end you need to delete it. The same thing for sharing the blog post. You need to log in, you need to post a new blog post, and you need to delete it. And for viewing a big blog post to see pagination, and so you also have to log in to post a big blog post and then to delete it. So we're testing our login times for every test. We test our posting every time, and we also test our deleting every time. And it takes a lot of time, and also if, for example, the posting of a new blog post fails, all our tests fail. So therefore we're thinking, oh, if we have an API for our web application, so just use it. So before we test, we just post our new blog post using our API, and we do the delete at the end. So we end up with just in Selenium to have the login and the edit. So we only test the minimum needed. But we can even go further. You can also do the login. And in Selenium, there's a nice feature called add cookie. So you can log in through the API. You can send your cookie to Selenium. And then you only test in Selenium what you actually want to test. So we have used the own API of our product to be able to just test in Selenium what we really want to test, and do the rest via the API to make it shorter and more robust. Thank you.
All right. We still had 1:16 left. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about yourself? What's your favorite food?
But I'm from Belgium, and I really like our mussels and fries, so that's my favorite food.
Mussels and fries, all right. Stereotypically Belgian. All right, from Russia, I've been told, Alexander Bayandine.
Hi there. As Dan said, English is not my native language, so I would ask transcriber to fix all my silly typos, mistakes that I will do. Let's start about Chrome driver jailbreak. Jailbreak, you would say, because what? Chrome open source, Chrome driver as well. So yeah, jailbreak because I would like to present some tool that allow us and you to use some Chrome features that are not available through Chrome driver. Let's start with Chrome with driver architecture. It basically has client sends request to Chrome driver sends request to Chrome. It's easy one. So client is Selenium or test, uses Chrome driver protocol. Between Chrome driver and Chrome, there is a Chrome debugging protocol over WebSocket. And what do we know about Chrome debugging protocol? Chrome DevTools also uses it. So what if we send custom requests uses this protocol? We have test, so this is how it will look. Test interacts with Chrome driver and also sends requests directly to Chrome, but there is a problem. Chrome doesn't allow simultaneous connection via this protocol. Let's make a proxy here. So this project tool calls DevTools proxy. It has two parts. It contains two parts, DevTools proxy itself and Chrome wrapper for injecting DevTools proxy between Chrome and tests. So let's see examples. For example, we can set CPU throttling for latest Chromes. We have a video. So there is a video, no throttling in some canvas animation. Bam. Now it's throttled. Cool. We can test something with it. Also, probably you know when you run test by Chrome driver, after test fail, you open DevTools and there is no HTTP request. So now it's fixed. On the left side, you'll see it's local Chrome instance, and right side it's a test. So one more video. Yeah, basically we see requests. We can use it, debug, and cool. Also, we can use something like Android remote debugging if you've seen it. So it just show us a screen on a test that we have. So now test running in the Docker, and I'm open special page in local Chrome, and I see what's going on. I can interact it in parallel with test run if I want to see. So I screwed up the video a bit, but now, yep, so I can use this stuff. Yeah, if you're interested, you should know before there is almost no docs because it's some kind of pet project. Doesn't support Windows yet because I'm not wasn't able to write this Chrome wrapper in batch and blah blah blah. Yep, some bugs. Selenium works. It's Python. Yep, so download it. Here's my handles and Badutyak for us. Hi.
Thank you very much. All right. From Washington, D.C., a man that promises to make automation great again, Justin Eisen. In a moment. Probably. Wonderful.
Hello, my name's Justin Eisen. I am an independent software automation consultant. And today I'm going to show you real quick, 3 minutes, and actually probably I'm out of time, so maybe not. We'll go to the next slide. So I actually created this library to crawl my app every time that there was a change because, you know, as we're probably all automation engineers, you know how frustrating it is every time your app or your design changes, you're going to have to go change your tests. So I was like, screw that, I'm going to just build something that do the testing for me. So the nice thing about it, I capture screenshots, I test against every OS version, every different locale, and then we throw it all into a dashboard after, and you could see all these different designs. Another nice thing about it is that, you know, if the app crashes, you get notified. You could either send a message to Slack or send an email. And then we also capture CPU and memory as the test run, and you keep these for historical reasons so you can see trends that your app is actually starting to either use more memory or less memory. So let's see it run real quick. Oops, not that. There it goes. And I'll skip through this because I don't have enough time to show it all. But actually, what it does is you can run it, and you can pass in an array of all the different locales you want to test against. So it's just going to go through the app. So right now it's going to go to Arabic. It's going to crawl through the app, every unique page. It's going to get a screenshot and then upload it to the server. And we'll just see it do a couple of actions. See, so now it's going to get all the views that are in the app. So it's either going to time out after I tell it to specify. It's going to or it's going to end once it's gone through every single view that's part of the app, or it's just going to end when it crashes. So here you can see it's in Arabic, but some things are in English. So we got a screenshot of that. How do I? Anyway, I can't skip through it on this one, but. So afterwards, all the images are uploaded. We could go through and review them. So this is great for designers, constantly get feedback on their design. So you can see here that, we have some bugs here. It's in Arabic. There's some English. There again, there's more English. So this is just constantly running. Every time somebody makes a commit, you just have a constant flow of new information about. Because another thing is you're writing your tests to do specific actions. This is just going to do random actions. So this potentially will catch things that your test won't catch. So obviously different resolution sizes you can test against, because obviously your design's going to change based on those. Oh, I got 5 seconds. These are all the reasons why. So, so anyway, this is just, you could go sit on the beach if you have this guy running. So,
all right. And last, helping women of the UK access affordable clothing from ASOS. Jitesh Alai.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. So, heads up, this is not a technical talk. By any means, I'd like to be cutting code, but this is a pretty painful topic for us, and I'm here to just seek opinion and get your thoughts. Perhaps you solved the problem, perhaps you haven't, but I'd like to hear anyway. So the topic is really, I've automated everything. Manual testing is dead. We all know it's not true, but this is creating quite a discussion and quite a few upset people and friends who no longer want to talk to me about this. But so let's start. Too often I'm hearing we're automating everything. Yeah, we're doing ATDD, we're doing BDD, TDD. We don't need manual testers. Cut back on that. Now, how can that be possible? And what's driving this? And some of the key questions around test automation. So the debate I have with our QAs is, well, automation is writing code. Aren't developers good at writing code? So let the devs do that. Let the testers do test. But this is going back to the old school thinking, which is devs do dev, testers do test. So where do we now fit into this middle ground? So another key problem is we have this terminology called SDAT, Software Developers in Test. So why do we have that? Why don't we have a terminology, testers in dev? Yeah, are we saying that the developers can test better? Are we saying that the testers can't dev? And this is just creating a whole lot of confusion in here. So I guess for us, the change is we are training our QAs to be developers. We're training them in solid principles. We're training them in architecture. And this is creating, as Simon mentioned, poetic code. But we're training our testers to do this rather than training our devs to do QA. And then so I leave you with another question now, which I face. QAs are ruling the world. Is that really the next stage for us? QAs doing development and testing, or should it be developers doing both? But question for debate. Come and find me. A few of us and our colleagues are out here, but we're keen to get your thoughts.
All right. And apparently, I lied to you. We were struck by lightning once more. I have no hope in hell of pronouncing his name. I'll let him do it for you.
No, hello, hi. My name is Nessa. I'm coming from Ipswich, a company called Dervico.
Say the whole thing. You made it sound like it was easy.
Okay, it's Nessa Ganesh Pandey Selvam. Yeah, I don't believe these guys with the timing, so I'll start my time. Okay, so yeah, so we use C#, Visual Studio 2015, Yannick 3.50. We use APM 1.6. Selenium, TeamCity, and then we write test cases in test royale, and then once the test case is executed, like, it will automatically, the results will be populated into the test royale. We can see the results there. And then we use Reflector app. So that Reflector app is basically you can mirror your device, and then you can see, like, the device, how the test cases are running into the real device. And we use only the real device testing, not any simulators or emulators. We use USB network gate, that is basically to share the devices from one PC to the other PC. And we do test it. We are basically a hybrid application, and we do testing in all the browsers, and then we test in Android, iOS, Safari, native, and all those stuffs. So our future, like, we need to test in Apple Watch as well as in the Windows device. And this is our configuration we have in the device room. We have a separate device lab. So in the device lab, we have got, list of Mac Minis, and all these Mac Minis, these two Mac Minis, which is separated just for the TeamCity, we use for the continuous integration tool. And then in this Mac Minis, there are default devices connected, like, Android, iOS devices connected here. And then whenever you wanted to run test cases through the TeamCity, you can go there, and then you can just, run your test cases. The IP address will be automatically mentioned in your parameters, and then you can see the test cases running in your Mac Minis and the devices. And these devices can be mirroring through the Reflector app or through the casting to the TV screens. So what we do is, like, on the release day, so we come in the early morning, and then we run the test cases, and then we share these we share these things in the TV, like, everybody can see, like, how the test cases are performing. And then this one is, these are, like, automation developers having Windows PCs. So they wanted to basically test an iOS device. So what they need to do is, like, they need to grab the Mac Minis and then set up everything in the Windows PC. It's very, very difficult. So we found something like, sharing your USB into the Mac Mini. So we connect your iOS device into the Windows, and then we share the USB to the Mac Mini, and then we can run the test cases and other things. We also got something called the scripts, so which will automatically start your Selenium grid, start your APM, and all those things from your Windows. You can also see the logs and other things. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, cool. So apparently you guys were so lightning fast, we have a little time to wrap it up. So I thought 2 minutes to wrap it up. Let's pick a winner. So I'm going to pick 3 finalists. By round of applause, we'll pick one. So Andy, get up here. Get some exercise. Let's get, who did the, where is it? Chrome driver jailbreak. Alexander, get up here. And Christian, get up here. All right. I've picked the finalists, but you will pick the winner. So by round of applause, stand up and wave your arms for Andy. Chrome driver jailbreak, Alex. And try and make his test pass, Christian. All right. It's close between these two here. One more time for Alexander. One more time for Christian. All right, Alexander, you have won a room temperature bottle of water. They have no budget for prize, but thank you very much. And could all the speakers get up here for a group photo? And a round of applause. We finally have time for everyone. Everyone get up here who spoke. A round of applause for all the people that gave these lightning talks. Come back, Alexander. You must take the group photo. That's it. The rest of you can leave. Show's over.